What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Bourbon, Buzzed, and Ballin podcast. We are your hosts, Kolby and Dut, and this is our podcast where we like to shoot the shit on sports. We like to give you our own spin on sports. We might talk current hot topics. We might talk past topics. We don't know where the show is going to take us, but we also like to drink a little bourbon, and we like to rate a little bourbon. We hope to maybe save you a little money at the end, or maybe cause you to go out and spend some money if we find something that's really good. But that's what this podcast is about. Hope you enjoy it. Kolby, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I hadn't talked to you in a minute.
I know it. You know, it's getting to be the holidays. I know we're both fixing to do some traveling. Speaking of that, if anybody is in Tuscaloosa this weekend for the Iron Bowl, stop by the Bourbon, Buzzed, and Ballin tailgate tent.
There you go.
And have a bourbon with me.
Have a bourbon, yeah. It'll probably be Kolby because I'm headed further south.
Unless you swing by on your way back.
We might make our way back to T-Town. I don't know.
We're gonna have a nice fajita bar and some sub sandwiches and obviously some bourbon and some other adult beverages.
Show you how to really tailgate. I got a funny story about being in Clemson this weekend. I'll share a little bit later.
Yeah.
A little bit later. You can always check out our TikTok. I posted a little something about my Clemson trip this weekend. So anyway, that's cool. Why don't you bring us in on the
opening toast?
On the opening toast.
Okay, I will. So this weekend there was a record set in the NFL. Mr. Cordarelle Patterson set the. He already had a piece of the record.
Right.
He was tied with Leon Washington and Joe Cribbs for the most touchdown returns in NFL history. It was 8. He got number 9 this weekend, which, you know, with the way they've changed the kickoff rules.
Sure, yeah, it's harder.
It's much harder to get it. You don't see it very often. Of course, we saw a punt return for a touchdown this weekend also.
Right.
We'll get to that later, but...
well, you know, at the early part of the season, he wasn't returning kicks, and that was before his injury. And so I was like, the dude needs one more. Put him in. Yeah. So I guess they got the memo.
They did. So that's who my opening toast is Mr. Patterson with his record-breaking kickoff return.
Yeah, that was good. He's obviously the best kick returner I've ever seen. So
yes,
I'm gonna toast the U.S. men's national team. I'm a little disappointed. We had it.
They were so close.
Golly, that was such a stupid penalty.
I didn't see the penalty, and of course, you know, bail is automatic. I mean, it was. I
mean, we got a glove on it. We touched it.
Yeah.
I was actually watching it while I was driving. So, you know, kids at home, if you're listening, don't do what I'm saying.
You mean you pulled off on the side of the road to watch?
Yeah, that's what I did. But yeah, no.
Yeah, and actually, the goalie had made a hell of a save earlier.
Yeah.
To keep it at 1-0.
No, it was good. You know, Gareth Bale. Obviously, you know, it's hard for me to root against him because I'm a longtime Tottenham Hotspurs fan, and he was a great Hotspur. You know, it's but you know that was I think the U.S. is disappointed in that one a little bit, but that was still a stolen point because I honestly did not think.
You didn't think they were going to get any points in their
No,
group.
I was going to be surprised if we even got a point, and then you know, Iran they got
stomped,
beat down by England, which you know we got England Friday, so I mean that's definitely a monstrous task. But I'm gonna toast the U.S. team.
Well, you know, every time they've either won or draw in their first match, they've advanced.
Okay.
So, and they've never, if they lose their first game, they've never advanced. So their hopes are still alive because they got that draw.
This is the second youngest team in the entire cup, so there's plenty to be happy about as a United States football fan.
Yeah, the talent, lots of good young talent. You know, we talked about it a little bit last week, where you know some of your better athletes are being steered towards other sports less violent than football.
Oh yeah,
and I think that you're starting to see that in soccer now. So
yeah, you know we still lack that. We still lack that imagination off the ball that some of the other countries. It's almost like, you know, English guys. It's innate. Soccer is innate to them.
And the way I look at it is, you're only going to be as good as your competition. So until you build the sport from the youth level,
right,
where the competition is even better at the youth level, then the better ones at the youth level are pushed to get even better. And then as you move up, just like football.
Yeah.
High school football, it's real competitive. College is the best of the high school players. Pros is the best of the college players. And that's the evolution that I think soccer needs.
Yeah, I mean, soccer, I guess we can sit here and talk a lot about soccer and the club sports, kind of like baseball and the travel ball. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's like there's no youth. There's a lot of youth soccer, but the quality players are playing
just
club,
like hockey
club
in
soccer.
the U.S. It's gotten a lot better over the past decade or so, but it took a while to catch up to the Europeans or the Canadians, because that's what all their best athletes are growing up doing.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So okay, let's toast Mr. Patterson and the U.S. national men's soccer team.
That's it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well done.
All right.
What you sipping on tonight, Dut?
That's little Ezra Brooks cast strength.
Okay.
I don't remember what we rated it. Not good, because I would probably bounce it right now from my glass. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. We rated it as a bourbon that.
We rated it as a bourbon.
It was rated as a bourbon.
Actually, we gave it a 2.
We gave it a 2. I mean, 2. It's a pretty strong. The cast.
It was a mixer for
Yeah,
us.
it's definitely a mixer. I mean, I would definitely consider diluting that a little bit, but no, it's good. It'll be a good sipper tonight. How about yourself? What you got?
I'm a creature of habit, I guess. I grabbed me a bottle of chicken cock at the ABC store on my way home from work today, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, naturally, that's a good one.
So I got the chicken cock.
I'm actually gonna stop at there's a nice store in Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop there on my way home.
Just
tomorrow.
See what you can find.
See what I can find.
Yeah, of course, keeping with our Thanksgiving theme, we got 2 more wild turkeys. One's kind of a wild turkey, the Russell Reserve. It's a collaboration of the master distillers for wild turkey, and then we've got the rare breed this week. We'll do those at the end of the show in honor of Thanksgiving and Turkey Week. So
sweet. Let's move on into the scumbag, man. You got us a scumbag?
I do, and I just lost my notes, so let me open those back up.
I thought we were unscripted.
Well, I got bullet points. We are
I'm just messing with
unscripted, but trying to get a phone call right now.
They didn't get the memo that this was podcast night?
You would think my wife would know. All right,
she trying to break in. She wants a little airtime.
So my scumbag of the week, I've got, a few weeks back, I gave my scumbag of the week award to a whiny ass bitch quarterback, and now we got a whiny ass bitch quarterback part 2. So this whiny ass, you might even say a spoiled brat.
Yeah, he seems like a brat to me.
Zach Wilson. Zero accountability, just like Aaron Rodgers. He played a pathetic game this weekend.
It was ugly.
9 of 22 for 77 yards. Offense put up 3 points. The total offense they had for the whole game was like 103 yards. And so after the game, and the defense shut down New England.
Yeah, the defense.
They held New England to 3 points.
Good job.
So he was asked in the post-game press conference, so, Zach, do you think the offense let down the defense? Without even hesitation, he said, nope.
Right.
I was asked again and said no again.
Right.
And so it's not sitting well with his teammates or the media. He was drugged through the coals.
He's in the wrong neighborhood to get on the wrong side of the with the media for sure.
Right. I found it interesting. looking back at Jets quarterbacks and who you would consider as failures. Sam Darnold, Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, all very high draft picks.
Right.
That didn't quite pan out. His stats through his first 20 games would put him fourth on that list.
Yeah.
So he is even worse than those three.
And arguably a more talented roster offensively. We don't need to talk defensively because we know defensively.
Yeah, defensively. And, Sanchez had a hell of a defensive. I mean, they were able to go to the AFC Championship with Sanchez.
Right.
Darnold never had much of anything on either side of the ball.
No, he didn't.
And Geno didn't have much help either. I bet right now the Jets fans would take either one of those guys over Zach Wilson.
Yeah, he definitely looks like a bust. He got bust written all over him. But I think maybe the comment he made is an indicator that he's just, I don't know, he just looks like a spoiled brat to me.
Right.
He just has that look. I mean,
and that's why I said
I don't want to harp too much on his looks, but he just does not have that look of maturity to that you want out of your quarterback.
Yeah, he still looks like he's about 18.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't have anything to do with it, but I have a feeling he probably has been pampered his whole life. And it came out today that Saleh has not committed to starting Zach this weekend. He said it's going to be evaluated through the week. Saleh said that on one hand, then on the other hand, he was saying other stuff about, this is not a reflection of who he is and blah. So he was defending him, and that's part of Zach Wilson's problem is I don't think anybody along the way has, put him in his place.
Sure, no.
Everybody's catered to him.
He's got teammates that are liking nasty tweets,
right.
About his performance, and so that's sort of I know they're backtracking. I know Sauce was backtracking a little.
Yeah, and there was another defender, and they both said, I didn't realize I was liking it. And,
right. Nah, I don't know about that now, Sauce. I think you're probably a little pissed off you were on the field as long as you were, but that's just adding more towards your Rookie of the Year.
Right. But if the quarterback is supposed to be the leader of your team, and you have to, it doesn't matter what you think, you still have to be the face of that franchise, and you have to take it for the team. Even if you think it was somebody else's fault, you still got to own it. You still got to say, yeah, this is on me, which, in this case, it really was.
Well, conversely, you've given Baker Mayfield enough hell, but at Baker took the heat. He showed maturity.
Right.
In his press conference that you would like to see Zach Wilson take, but
and you would think this being his second season that he would have had a little bit more.
Yeah, he's a pro now, so it's time to be a professional.
Right.
You're not in college anymore. You're not in high school. It's time to be a pro. It's time to step up. There's no reason for you not to step up and be a vocal leader at your age. Regardless of how you look.
Yeah.
And how you perform. Start acting and playing the part, or start acting the part, and maybe you'll play the part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good scumbag.
Yeah, so that's my scumbag of the week.
I didn't have a scumbag, man. I can't believe that. I was looking for somebody that I really wanted to roast.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to kind of roast the Clemson fan base a little bit for the energy levels in Tiger Stadium this weekend, but that's a little. It was bad. It was kind of gloomy, bad weather. It was Miami,
right?
The Hurricanes,
nothing to get real excited about.
Even at 0-0, it was quiet.
Well, a lot of I know up in Michigan and Tuscaloosa, a lot of the student sections weren't real full.
Yeah, it could have just been, the cool weather
and the lack of competition. And, that week they need to do away with that week.
Well, in the SEC for sure. That's. Get your FCS schools. Get them out the way early.
Right. Yeah. Play those like preseason games. Use those first 2 weeks as your preseason warm-up games, and then let's hit it. I mean, that little lull in the schedule, I hate that weekend.
Always have, man.
Yeah.
I just think it's gonna cause an injury that we don't need going into the Iron Bowl.
I mean, you're better off just if you want to give 2 bye weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Give a second bye week rather than, like you said, go out there and risk injury.
I mean, we've spoken about the financial aspects of it. I mean, everybody knows that it's important to those schools to be able to come to these Power Fives and play and collect them checks, because it definitely financially makes their year
but do it
on
early.
the athletic budget. But do it early.
Do it early.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Speaking of, talking about the FCS, Austin Peay's head coach, Scotty Walden, I'm a fan. He was so enthusiastic during the game, during the interview when he came back, from the locker room. The sideline reporter asked him, what was your message to your team? And he said, my message was, we didn't come here to keep it close. We came here to win. I mean, he was just pumped up. He was working the officials. I mean, he was coaching his ass off. And that young man needs he needs a better job.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I guess that's not a good way to term it.
I think we all would agree Austin Peay is a stepping stone for a good coach.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think, maybe he's auditioning for the Auburn job. Maybe he wants a piece of Saban every year.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to have him on our staff. But, would a FCS head coach, take a coordinator job?
Maybe.
At Power 5?
Maybe he comes in as a coach in waiting.
Yeah. So you were at Clemson, so you didn't see the game.
I didn't even watch the Bama game. I've lost some steam, man. I didn't even really watch the highlights.
Yeah.
I looked at the box score and I was watching paying attention to the game on my phone, but I was partaking in the festivities down in Clemson. So
yeah. No, like I said, I was super impressed with his coaching and just staying on top of things, his enthusiasm, and he kept it. I mean 34-0 is respectable.
Sure, it wasn't a blowout.
So yeah,
by any stretch.
I was almost gonna. He was almost gonna be my opening toast.
Oh, okay.
And then when Patterson broke the touchdown record, I flip flopped him and put him down here in the coming in hot news and toasted Patterson. But yeah, I was so impressed with him that he was going to be my opening toast.
All right, cool.
Speaking of the Iron Bowl, another thing that hit me about the Iron Bowl is this very well could be the last we see of Bryce and Will.
Oh, I know. I mean, I don't see why it won't be.
I mean, knowing how competitive they are, I could still see them participating in a bowl, but
not if we're out of the playoffs,
right? I mean, for their best interest, you'd hate to see them play in a bowl game and get hurt or something like that.
I mean,
like Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think any less of either of those two if they decide to opt out, because they're both projected top five,
top three,
depending
really,
on how it rolls. I mean, I think clearly Will is going to go top 5. Bryce, I can see Bryce possibly stumbling based on measurables.
Yeah, the only thing that would hurt him, but I still think he's the number one quarterback.
I think he's proven himself mentally. He's proven himself as a leader. Mm-hmm. He's proven himself because he's carried this team all season long. So, with the exception of one game that we were carried by our backup. So, I definitely think the measurables should be thrown out the door, because his immeasurables far exceed his hand size or his stature.
Well, the way he can avoid pressure, and is smart when he's running. He doesn't take chances. Those are types of things that will overcome his lack of size.
Yeah, and since we kind of briefly talked about the draft, let me throw this out there. The last mock I saw, Drew Sanders, our transfer to Arkansas, he's being mocked in the first round. To me,
he had a hell of a year.
He did have a great year, but to me, that's kind of a little aspect as to our slipping. You know, we missed out on him. He didn't transfer. He wouldn't have transferred if he had the playing time. How does he not get playing time and still get mocked in the first round?
He did get a lot of playing time.
Yeah,
last
but not
year.
start. He didn't start.
He started,
and in my opinion,
he started until he got hurt. He started.
He wasn't the designated starter. He started because of an injury.
He started because Allen got hurt.
Yeah,
and then he got hurt, and Dallas Turner started.
Right,
and he was still getting playing time, but you know he was hurt.
But in the off season,
and I think he looked at, well, I'm already behind Dallas and Will, and possibly Braswell.
Sure.
And he had an opportunity to go somewhere and be the starter
and be featured.
And he probably, he probably would have started if he stayed at Bama next to Henry in the middle.
And but in some aspects he moved to Arkansas and they moved him around the field. Mm-hmm. Where at Bama he wouldn't have really moved around the field. But
this is true.
To me, that still kind of pisses me off a little bit that we missed out on him somewhat. I know he got a lot of playing time, but we still missed out on him a little bit in his abilities because he was an obvious talent. He was a talent when he came in.
He was a high recruit, 5-star.
I just wanted to throw that out there. You know, it's kind of, you know, I talked not too many podcasts ago about our best players have been through the transfer portal.
Right.
And then we lose a potential. I don't know that he's going to go in the first round, but his potential clearly has him being talked.
Right.
And, you know, he transfers out.
I mean, that's what college football is now. It's all about getting instant playing time and getting that NIL money.
It was the right move for him. How can you dispute it?
It
you
was.
know?
It was.
And that's what the transfer portal should be for.
Right.
You know, he did make the right move. He went to somewhere that they featured him.
Made himself more valuable, which is what Saban preaches.
Yep. What does he say? But what's this saying? Improve your
value.
Your value, yeah. Improve your value. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Well, we had two teams that officially eliminated themselves from any playoff discussion. With UNC, I don't know how, but losing to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that was interesting.
21-17, and then
up 17-0.
Yeah, and then Tennessee,
and eliminated a potential Heisman.
Yeah, and that's what
candidate.
That's what I wanted to go next with this conversation with Tennessee losing to South Carolina, and the worst part of that loss is Hendon Hooker blowing his ACL. So, What is your take on two things? The Heisman chase and his draft stock.
Well, you know, his draft stock's been up and down the board, and I've seen mocks and I've heard talks of him going as early as 7th or 8th to the Carolina Panthers, depending on where they pick. Mm-hmm. That's largely because we're in the Charlotte market, so I hear a lot of that.
Right.
But, I don't know. I think the quarterback draft is so deep that somebody's going to have to slide out of the first round. I mean, clearly you're not going to see 5 and 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round because there's so many teams that don't have that need.
Right.
So I could see Hendon Hooker sliding out of the first round into the second, and now possibly
I could see possibly third or fourth.
Third, yeah, I can definitely see him as a third day pick now because of the injury. But the good news
plus
for
his
Hendon,
age.
Yeah, his age, but 25 is not exactly
no
ancient for recovery.
No, but I mean, I'm not talking about recovery. I'm just talking about.
Well, I think his age ought to be a plus.
If he was at a different position, it definitely would not be
plus for his his maturity.
Right,
level.
right. At quarterback, you can because they usually have a little bit longer career. Like if he was a running back.
Oh no, he'd be toast. He wouldn't even get drafted. He had to be a free agent.
Yeah, but being a quarterback. But they also say because he's 25, is this his peak? Or can he raise his game even higher? So, yeah, I hate it for him.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate for him because he was clearly in the top 3 conversation of Heisman.
Yeah, and now he won't get to, go to the combine and display for the coaches what his talents are. So
yeah, he's lost some millions on.
Did he put enough on film where he still gets invited to New York for the Heisman presentation? And did he put enough on film where he still can be a first or second round draft pick, or is he now a third or fourth round draft pick?
Yeah, I definitely think, I'm sure we're gonna do mocks when it comes up close to draft time. I mean, I think he would clearly be a third or a fourth day for me at this point. But I mean, I definitely think he's definitely going to get drafted.
I definitely think he'll get drafted.
What was your other half of that question?
Huh?
What was your other half of that question?
That was the two.
Okay.
The draft stock.
Oh, the draft
and the Heisman.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
And now I think the Heisman's down to Stroud and Caleb Williams. And Corum, he got hurt this weekend.
Yeah, I think indications are that he's on the mend. He's going to be
okay
fine
for Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think Corum's the front runner at this point, but I know it's a quarterback war.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Caleb Williams and USC's resurgence.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're
I think it's still
2 victories away.
I think it's still too close to call.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I think
definitely
it's going to come down to this weekend and Ohio State versus Michigan. So that's Corum and Stroud right there.
Yeah, it's going to be a marquee game for one of those two to show out.
And then does USC win out? Do they win their conference championship game?
They're going to need to, for sure.
There's still a few important games that I think the Heisman is still teetering on these next few games.
Yeah, this has been the least clear-cut Heisman race after 10, 11 weeks that we've seen.
Yep.
That I can remember, for sure.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I think Ohio State struggled, Michigan struggled, TCU struggled.
Even Georgia was not that impressive against Kentucky. 16-6.
But Georgia. I feel like Georgia just is on a coast, and they just rise to that occasion.
Yeah, but
when they play a big game,
sometimes that'll come back to get you though.
Clemson had some dominoes fall, and then the wrong domino fell with UNC losing to Georgia Tech. That took the luster off the ACC championship.
Well, it definitely, if UNC can win that championship, then that eliminates the ACC from the playoffs.
I think, that's a good question. Do you think there's some ACC hate out there, or do you think it's deserved?
No, I think it's deserved.
So you think, you think it's deserved based on lackluster performance of the.
It's a weak conference.
It is a weak conference, man. I left the Clemson Miami game. Obviously Clemson's defense is playoff caliber, but offensively they're not there. They're not there. They have nobody on the outside that's going to pressure. The top 3 teams, top 4 teams defensively in the secondary. And then, of course, DJ. DJ just, DJ is a good runner. He's a good runner, but he can't make the big throw, I don't believe. So,
it was looking like we were going to have a couple of upsets in the top 4 because both Michigan and TCU had to pull it out their ass.
They did.
And even Ohio State was only up 33-30. Late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's. I mean, we could sit here and talk about, what if? I think Georgia's clear cut in. Obviously, even if they lose to LSU, I can't see
Georgia's
Georgia
probably
getting
a lock at this point.
Yep, Georgia's a lock. But
unless Georgia Tech, maybe they're for real.
Yeah, maybe the ACC is for real.
I think
the winner of the OSU Michigan game for sure is a lock.
Should be.
The loser, not necessarily a lock,
but not necessarily eliminated.
No, definitely not.
TCU's got to win out. So if you get TCU winning out, you got Georgia winning out. That's two of your. Then the winner of the Ohio State-Michigan game, that's three of them. So that last slot, then it's going to come down to the Ohio State-Michigan loser.
Yep.
But there really aren't. Neither one of those teams really has a great resume outside of that game. I almost think you got to have Michigan go into Ohio State and lose on a very close, kind of like what Alabama did.
Oh yeah, it has to come
Tennessee or LSU.
Come down.
It's got to be a game like that
sure.
where it's highly competitive. Both teams are in it the whole game.
But even then, if USC goes on to win out and win their conference, I think they get in over Michigan and Ohio State, the loser.
Right. Well,
they get over, depending on which one of them lose.
Yeah.
Let's just throw this scenario out. Let's just say, I'm gonna say Michigan wins.
Of course you are.
Michigan's gonna win that game. TCU loses.
Okay.
And let's just say Clemson wins, beats North Carolina, and USC wins.
I'm leaving out Ohio State.
So and then who you gonna leave out? You gonna slide?
You'll have
USC
Georgia
and Clemson in.
Yeah.
And those will fall
and Michigan.
out.
So TCU'd be out.
Yeah.
That would be because, like I said,
Tennessee losing kind of cleared it cleared the path a little bit.
Yeah, it did open things up.
Yeah, it cleaned the water up a little bit.
And of course,
LSU's totally out.
Yeah, LSU.
I mean, even if they beat Georgia,
I don't know. Now that would be chaos.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. LSU manhandles Georgia.
You got to put them in. They're an SEC champ. They got to win over Georgia. They got to win over Alabama.
They got 2 bad losses, man.
Is it 2 bad losses or just 1 bad loss?
It's 1 bad loss. Well, I mean, Florida State's not really a bad loss either, but it's still 2 losses. But you can't necessarily. But then the SEC bias or SEC reality?
Right.
That's a good question because, in my opinion, there is no SEC bias. In my opinion, the SEC has earned the respect of the voters, the coaches, and the media.
They just have the hate of anybody that's not a fan of SEC.
Exactly. It's called SEC bias, ESPN, SECPN, or whatever they say. So, I mean, but that would clearly throw a big wrench into it.
Yeah.
If LSU,
there could still be some wild chaos going on. That would
definitely be interesting. Me personally, I mean, I think Clemson is out. I mean, I just don't see how they can get into.
Well, they
this
did move
thing.
them up to I think 5 in the AP. Of course, the poll that counts won't be out to the mark. Speaking of polls, there should be no preseason poll because part of these arguments are, TCU's got wins over 5 ranked teams. Well, they were ranked at the time, but now none of them are ranked because they've been shitty.
Yeah.
So
early season ranks are meaningless.
Yeah, I mean, I think about mid-season,
we've all been wrong.
Oh yeah.
About all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the NFL predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really wrong. Who would have predicted that the Falcons are not mathematically eliminated? Nobody predicted that the Lions have a chance to get into the playoffs.
Right.
Same thing in college. I mean, we didn't see.
Well, and that's going to be the beauty of the college expansion.
Yeah.
Of course, when you get to 12, then it's going to be like, but team at 13, 14, and 15. Yeah. It's never going to be enough. But
it's not going to stop.
Yeah. You got to draw the line somewhere.
Well, before we move off of college, I want to talk about my Feinbaum experience.
Yeah, you told me that you were on the show, but you didn't tell me we didn't ever get a chance to talk about.
Yeah, so last week I called into the Feinbaum show because I'm home early, and I'm like, you got nothing else better to do. I got a good question for Paul, and I literally dialed 6 times, and the phone picks up. Like, what's your question for Paul? And I'm like, whoa, snap, I'm on. Well, I want to ask Paul's expert opinion on should Coach Saban anoint a coach in waiting prior to 2029, or is he just gonna run his contract, bow out, and Bama's gonna do the search? And so that's how I got on, and sure enough, Paul picks up, and I'm on with Paul Feinbaum.
A former scumbag of the week.
I didn't tell Paul that you had called him a scumbag because I actually like Paul Feinbaum. I like the show.
I typically like Paul Feinbaum, but
they wouldn't let me plug. They wouldn't let me plug the
Bourbon Buzz and Ball
podcast. But I did get on the show, and I told him that I'm going to probably be the most objective and sane Bama fan you've had on your show because his show is full of idiots. Yeah. I mean, our fan base is embarrassing. Except for Legend. I like Legend. But anyway, so I got on the Feinbaum show, and we had about a 5-6 minute convo. He liked my question, and so I thought that was pretty cool getting on the show.
And what was his answer?
He thought that, I also told him that what was his thoughts on, do you think Lane Kiffin, given his current situation, because I think, in talking to many Alabama fans and alumni, that Kiffin is probably our number one choice, even over Dabo. And he said, no way. He said, no way that Kiffin wouldn't. He certainly wouldn't come in as a coach in waiting.
Right. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
There ain't no way.
I don't think he would either, but I mean, that to me is going to be our best transition for recruiting, is to anoint a coach in waiting that knows, hey, Coach Saban's going out, but this guy's coming in. That to me is our best bet. But anyway, no, he said that would never happen. And I agreed, but I was hoping he would maybe say, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that might work, but he didn't. I like Paul. I like his opinion. I think Feinbaum is good for the show, or good for NCAA football.
I just don't like when he turns on the shock jock mode.
Yeah, but I mean, he flip flops. I mean, as soon as Bama wins, he's back on the Saban train. As soon as we lose, he's against Alabama,
which is pretty much what I said when I anointed him as the scumbag.
And he's never been a Michigan fan, but he's changed over the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's not a Harbaugh fan.
No, but he has changed over the past couple of years. Jim has earned some respect from him, but he definitely doesn't really care too much for Auburn, in my opinion, based on what he says. But anyway, that was my Feinbaum experience.
With the NFL. Some
interesting weekend.
Yeah, exciting games going on this weekend. Jalen Hurts threw the Eagles on his back and took them to victory over the powerhouse Jeff Saturday-led Indianapolis Colts. going for 2-0 record, and Jalen had to just burst that bubble.
Burst his bubble. But Saturday's looking good. He's got the boys running through walls for him.
He does, but I did see a little bit of.
He's got the locker room cred.
I did see some of the game management toward the end of that game.
Yeah, I would imagine that he's lacking.
Those are the things.
Coaching experience.
Yeah. So
didn't play enough Xbox. See, if he'd played enough Xbox, he would know when to call timeouts. But the Eagles are sputtering, man. They're starting to sputter a little bit. There's some weakness in the East.
If you think back a few episodes ago, when I said that you put the Eagles in the AFC, they're maybe the fourth best team.
Yeah,
I stand by that. I don't know that the Cowboys, when are fully healthy, that they're not better than the Eagles.
Oh well,
and that pains me to say.
That's where I'm going to next. I think, and this is not just based on yesterday, because I'm a Vikings fan, so yesterday was hard to take.
Right.
But I think the Cowboys, to me, look to be the most complete team in the NFC.
Oh, wait a minute. Kirk Cousins just got sacked again.
Yeah, he did. Kirk Cousins just missed another wide open receiver because he was worried about the pass rush. I think they're the most complete team, man, defensively, and they
do have a weakness against the run. That's their one weakness. But other than that, their pass rush, their DBs, they're pretty solid. Excuse me, they're pretty solid.
Got an explosive tailback.
Yeah, now that they're kind of featuring Pollard, and they're just bringing Zeke in to be the hammer.
That's the right thing to do. I mean, it is the right thing to do.
Early in the season, they wanted to ride Zeke.
Right.
But I think when Zeke missed some time and they had to feed Pollard, they kind of started seeing this new winning formula.
You can't not recognize his explosiveness.
There's talk about them maybe signing Odell. You add him into the mix where he doesn't have to be the guy. If they add Odell and if they can,
looks good, man.
If they can shore up that interior, that rush. And we should be able to tell something Thursday. They play the Giants, and
but your G-men are hurt, man. Your G-men are hurting,
man.
I think I told you that I think your G-men were pretending.
Oh, I did too.
I know you did. I know you did. I think my Vikings are a pretender.
Right.
I don't think they're a contender. The Eagles certainly are a contender. I think the Cowboys are the best team in the East.
The Commanders are coming on strong.
The Commanders are looking good
behind Taylor Heineke, and they've got they've got a solid defense, and they've got
Heineke's earned a lot of respect, man. He's earned a lot of respect. He looks like one of them kids, kind of like Flutie.
Yeah.
You want to doubt him, but put him in, you win. That sort of thing.
If Rivera, which I heard today, I don't know if it was legit or not, but I heard that they announced that Taylor was going to be the starter the rest of the season. I hope so, because
he's earned it. I think he's earned it, and the Redskins and the players look like they love him to death.
Right.
So it looks like everybody's responding to him. Tampa, Tom Brady looks like he's starting to get the Buccaneers come around a little bit.
Right. I still worry about that O-line.
Yeah, but honestly, I hate to say this, I do think the Cowboys look like the best team to beat
right now in the NFC. I agree. In the NFC, I agree that
AFC, you got the Titans are starting to gel. They're starting.
I think the Chiefs are clearly.
Yeah, definitely the Chiefs.
Of course, the Chargers gave them a battle last night, but
the Bills still look good.
I still like the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins look good
because their defense isn't playing up to what it played last. If their defense gets back to playing the way they did last year with that offense,
with the way coach calls the offense and the way Tua delivering the ball,
they're scary.
The weapons, but the
AFC is stacked though. Like you said, the Titans, the Ravens.
Titans
of course, the Ravens struggled with the Panthers this weekend, but. The Ravens are a scary team because...
but the Ravens were shut down by the Panthers. I mean, the defense shut Lamar down. I think the Ravens are a pretender.
Well, if you come up with the right game plan, it's kind of like Detroit did to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Their game plan was, we're loading the box. Saquon Barkley is not going to beat us.
Right.
And it worked.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what you got to do to the Ravens is you got to take away Lamar. Or you got to make sure he stays in the pocket and has to beat you with his arm.
Yeah.
And, he showed he couldn't do that to the Panthers.
The Bills are still scary. The Bills are still scary, though, because right now they're winning without Josh.
Although he looked like he had a lot of zip on his balls.
Right. No,
yesterday.
He still got a banging arm. Yeah. But they're winning with the run game.
Yeah.
Which is
he only threw one touchdown.
I know, what do you mean? The Bills got a running game? I think they're doing it to save his elbow.
Right.
Give him some breaks.
This is when football really starts.
Sure.
Now, the weather turns cold, so are these guys going to want to be as physical? Because it hurts more when that body's cold.
That may be why the Titans are surging, man. This is D. Henry time.
When this time of the year, nobody wants to see D. Henry coming at him.
But last night, clearly to me, the Chiefs kind of were a little not clicking early on.
Right.
But Chiefs look good.
Well,
man.
And they were without their top two wide receivers.
That's true.
Juju was out with a concussion, and actually Hardman, I think, is on IR.
Yeah,
I think he's done.
Is there a better 2-minute quarterback than Pat Mahomes? I mean,
Probably not.
Josh Allen's good, but
Yeah.
I don't think there's a better quarterback than Mahomes. I mean, you can give Mahomes 13 seconds and he's going to get you in field goal range.
Well, and Mahomes and Bryce Young remind me a lot of each other because they can keep a play alive for 10, 15 seconds.
Mahomes is unreal. He's unreal with his arm angles, and I mean, you give him 2 minutes, it's over.
It's a wrap.
Yep, it's a wrap.
Of course, Brady's still.
Well,
you
he's
gotta
the
say
all-time,
he's
but
still,
I mean, Mahomes, man, I don't know. We're gonna be rewriting some history books with Mahomes if he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already headed to Canton in my book anyway.
He's a unique,
he
unique
is
talent,
wonderful talent, and seems like he's a good kid, good dude, clean cut,
family man.
Players love him.
Expecting a second baby.
Kelsey loves him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He loves Kelsey. So anyway,
well, speaking of wonderful quarterback play, what are the Panthers going to do? Is it time to give Darnold his shot?
that's what I'm hearing. That's what I heard today on the radio. I think Sammy D's gets the next step up.
I mean,
I think PJ is the starter if he's not hurt.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's definitely shown that he deserves to be the quarterback over Baker.
Yeah, oh yeah. Baker, I think, played himself out of a starting position maybe for the rest of his career. I mean, I just don't know that he's the starter.
Well, it would have to be a what's his guy's name? Wally Pipp, or what was the guy that the first baseman that he got hurt, came out of the game, and never got his job back.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Drew Bledsoe.
Bledsoe with Tom Brady. It would have to be something like that, and he would just have to.
Yeah, he's going to have to go in as a backup,
or like a Geno Smith type of.
I mean, maybe he revamps his game in the off season, but he was horrible Saturday or Sunday. We've talked about his feet in the pocket. It was the worst I've ever seen. That's all pretty much I focus on when I watch him is his feet, and he's like he's got ADHD in the pocket, man. It's really hard to watch. So I think Darnold's back, and I think Darnold gets the nod this weekend. And I like Sam. I mean, I think Sam might be lacking a confidence problem, but I sometimes get a little too much behind some of these quarterbacks. And
we know you're not the quarterback whisperer.
I stick with no. I am the quarterback. Put me in, coach. I can coach these kids. But I'm definitely not your judge. Don't let me pre-draft judge your quarterbacks because I'm really not good. I'm really not good. But I think it's Sam Darnold this weekend.
I think they've got so much invested in him. They need to see. I mean, the season's a waste. They're not doing anything this year, even though in that division you're still alive in that division.
Yeah, but it's definitely time to start.
But you got to see what you got, and if Darnold, because like I said, they invested a lot of money and draft picks in getting Darnold. You got to see if he can be the answer or not.
It's a damn shame too for the Panthers because the defense is top 15. The offensive line is top 10 this year.
Yeah. I think the Panthers can.
They got receivers. They got running backs without Christian McCaffrey.
Yep. I think they could be a quick fix.
They are a quick fix. I think they need Bryce.
Well, and if they need any running back help, there's one out there that just got cut.
Yeah, yeah, but
of course you might want to put some glue on his hands.
Nah, that dude can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah,
man.
He had 5 fumbles so far this year. It seems like I don't watch the Broncos very much, but it seems like every time I've watched them play, I've seen him fumble the ball.
And he's a good running back. He's a good back, but man, he's got weak hands apparently.
Yeah, well, he's just careless with the ball. He doesn't, he keeps it away from it, and it's usually in traffic when he does it because he's not, not securing it. And this time it was the guy can't, and once you get that reputation as a fumbler, the guys are coming swinging.
Oh yeah,
I mean they're punching every time you get close to them.
That's right.
And then Justin Fields. he hurt his
I
non-throwing
mean,
shoulder.
You can't run the dude. I mean, he's a well-built kid, but he is not.
He's not a
Cam
running back.
Newton. You know, Cam Newton was physically built for you to ride him and run him like that. Justin Fields,
but only for so long.
Yeah,
I mean, we've
and
talked
even
about
Cam
this on the
broke
show
down.
before.
Exactly.
Quarterbacks aren't built to.
Lamar Jackson is going to break down sooner or later.
The only thing about Lamar is he rarely takes a hit.
Yeah. Well, sooner or later somebody's going to size him up.
Right.
And
But I mean,
with
it's
Justin
kinda
Fields,
like,
he delivers.
Yeah, it's
hits
like RG3. I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of just a freaky, the way he got slung upside down and his leg came down. And
Yeah.
but yeah, you draft a quarterback to throw the ball, not to be your top running back.
Right. And I mean, it's one thing to do some designed runs, but 14 to 18 carries a game, design runs. I mean, I realize Justin Fields is their weapon, and Darnell Moody's a decent receiver, not a number one. They were struggling, and they actually showed some life running Justin Fields, but sooner or later he's not going to be able to hold up.
Nah.
And I think we see it already.
Yep. I mean, this was the third game where they kind of increased his running.
Three strong
Of course,
weeks.
They're talking about the shoulder might be what ends his season, but he also tweaked his hammy in the game. So I mean, it wasn't just the shoulder; it's the shoulder and the hamstring.
Right.
So yeah,
he put together an awesome 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yep. All right. What else you want to talk about? There's some good basketball coming up this week up in Oregon. You got the Phil Knight Invitational and the Legacy Tournament, and there's some top basketball. UNC is going to be up there. Gonzaga's going to be up there.
Gonzaga plays in everything, don't they?
Oh yeah.
And I think they played today.
They played yesterday.
Oh,
they beat the hell out of Kentucky.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, 88-72.
You sure they didn't play today in another tournament, like the championship game or something? I don't know. I haven't switched gears yet.
I didn't look at it today, but yeah, no, I know they played Sunday against Kentucky and beat the hell out of them. Kentucky fell all the way from. They were either 4 or 5. I think they were 5, and they fell all the way to like 16 in the AP rankings. So yeah, they. But yeah, this is going to be some good. Bama's playing Michigan State. Bama actually looked good Friday night. They finally started hitting some threes.
Yeah, 18 of them, wasn't it?
That Brandon Miller, I'm telling you, that kid.
Yeah.
He may be the best recruit Alabama's ever had in basketball.
That's big.
Oh, he does it all. I mean, he can play point guard. He can rebound, block shots, knock down threes.
Yeah.
He has been impressive. He's the real deal. He was actually just named SEC Freshman of the Week for the first week of the season. I imagine that's not going to be his last award.
No, I can't imagine. Hopefully he stays healthy.
But yeah, we got
Quinn back.
Yeah, Q came back way ahead of schedule. That's what Jamison Williams just got activated today,
Right.
or not activated, but opened that 21-day. I guess that's activated the window for his return from the IR. He blew his ACL in January?
January 9th.
And Quinterly blew his in March. And Quinterly's already back playing. And Jamison is just now getting back to practicing. That kind of surprises me a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's more. I don't know. There's more stress to me on a body for an NFL kid than a college basketball.
But if you watch the way Quinterly
cuts
cuts and his quickness, I mean.
But we're talking about a very explosive athlete in Jamison Williams.
Right. But
I mean, he's
pretty much all he does is run a straight line.
Yeah, but man, that kid is blazing fast.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, he cuts a little bit as a wideout, and he's not just going to blow by people in the NFL, but for the most part, he probably still will. But
right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think there's a little more stress on an ACL for an NFL player than than a basketball player.
But 2
I mean,
months,
I know there's a lot more lateral play in the basketball,
right.
but
and that's what the ACL is for, your lateral movement. It's not for your straight ahead.
yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways to look at that, I guess.
So I mean, of course, different people heal different. You know,
Sure, absolutely.
So maybe Quinn's just a quicker healer, but it was just something I kind of found interesting that it has taken Jameson 2 months longer than it did Quinterly.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there's a little bit more restrictions on the testing.
Well, and there again, like you said, you got one as a college athlete and one as a pro, and they've got millions invested in Williams, and
right, hundreds invested in Quinn. Hundreds invested in Quinn. I think there's something to be said for the explosiveness of Jamison Williams and what might be a little bit harder of a healing process for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Q's pretty explosive in his own right.
And he looked just as quick.
Did he?
It was impressive.
Yeah, that's good.
It was impressive. What else you got?
No, I mean, that's about all I had,
Only about an hour in, so it's probably about time to...
Aaron Judge over Ohtani, I like that.
Oh, Judge had a...
Ohtani was being mentioned just because it's dual threat.
Right. Well, I mean, in any other year, Ohtani would have run away with the MVP.
I mean, he's a wonderful talent, but Aaron Judge's year...
Yeah, Judge was...
Flirted with the Triple Crown and not really carried the Yankees, but he was a large part of their success.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't carry over to the playoffs, but
right.
I think it was a no-brainer that Judge was going to be the MVP.
I'm glad he got that.
All right, well,
that's all I got, man.
Let's wrap this segment up and head over to the bar.
Let's do it.
Like I said, we got 2 more Wild Turkey bourbons.
Yep.
We'll taste those and then we'll rate that shit. See you at the bar.
All right.
4, 3, 2, are you ready?
Welcome over to Kolby's Bar, and it's time to rate that shit. This is the part of the show that I think we like the best. I was going to say I like the best, but I think you like bourbon too.
Yeah. I've been known to drink a glass or two.
Just a few. It's time to rate that shit, man.
That's right. We got a couple of wild turkeys. Kind of. Might be stretching it a little bit on that one, calling it a wild turkey, the Russell Reserve. But in honor of Thanksgiving, last week and this week, we decided we wanted to do some wild turkeys. So we did a couple last week and got 2 more this week. So why don't you give them our rating system, and then we'll taste them.
Sweet. So we like to rate our bourbon testing on a scale of 1 through 4. 1 is, we call that brown bag. That's the lowest level, man. We're not happy about it. We don't even like for you to serve it to us, and we probably gonna talk about you.
Don't waste your money.
Don't waste your money on that. 2, it's getting a little bit better. We call that a mixer. Gonna put a rock in it and maybe dilute it down. Number 3, it's getting better. We like to call that one on the rocks. And last but not least, number 4, the tried and true, the way Bourbon Buzz and Ballin likes to drink their bourbon.
The way it's supposed to be drank.
That's right, neat.
Yep.
Exactly.
So that's our rating system. So like I said, we've got 2 wild turkeys. The first one is the 10-year Russell Reserve. And the reason I'm including this as a wild turkey is wild turkey master distiller Jimmy Russell. He was he's still with Wild Turkey, but him and his son Eddie wanted to create their own bourbon, and it was created in honor of Jimmy for reaching 45 years at Wild Turkey. So, and he's actually been there almost 70. He's still a master distiller. Nice. So both Jimmy and his son Eddie are master distillers with Wild Turkey. So I felt like Russell Reserve, that qualifies as a wild turkey bourbon.
It's our podcast.
That's
you
right.
Qualify how you want.
We could do what we want to. All right, so it's aged for 10 years. It's supposed to, the aroma should be like an orange peel with notes of butterscotch, maple, oak, and vanilla. So swirl it around, wake up those notes.
I got some orange. I got
Yeah,
some orange.
orange
for
right
sure.
off the bat.
Yeah.
With a little vanilla on the back
I
end.
seem to always get vanilla.
Yeah,
That's a pretty
it's
popular
common
spice in an oak barrel.
Oak and vanilla, you're always going to get those flavors.
Yeah.
Usually you're going to get caramels, some citrus. But that's got a very good smell to it. Now your taste is supposed to be a spicy caramel and vanilla.
I got a little spiciness up front. Definitely caramel and vanilla
Yeah,
on the back end
Definitely.
for sure.
Yeah, good description on that.
Yeah.
I didn't mention it's about a $40
Okay, that was
bottle
my
of bourbon.
question.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. It was $39.95, so right at 40. That's got good flavors. It's
That's good,
sweet.
man. I like that. I like it when they're accurate on their descriptions.
I do
and
too.
Makes me feel like I know what I'm doing when I get those same flavors.
Because what he's saying is he doesn't know what he's doing.
No, I'm winging it, man. I'm winging it. Fake it till you make it. I've been faking it till I make it this whole time.
Yeah,
But you know,
18 episodes in, you should be.
Well, becoming a bourbon expert, it's a journey.
It is.
It's a journey, and it's a evolution of tasting. I mean, because like we've talked about many times, Blanton's was our top shelf, and we've evolved beyond a Blanton's only weeks in, after tasting so many bourbons. So I like this Russell's. There's a 12 out there too, isn't
Yes,
there?
yep.
Russell's 12, and this Russell 10, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on different social medias. I like it, man. I thought it had a good taste, good flavor.
That's only 90 proof.
All right, that makes more sense to me.
Okay.
I mean, it definitely felt
Yeah.
90-ish to me, but because 101 would stick with you a little bit longer.
Right.
I like it, man. I thought, for $40, I think that's clearly a good value. $40 isn't expensive in my book anymore for a bourbon, so I think it's a good value, man. I think it's a good flavor.
I like it.
For our purposes. To me, it's a 3.
Same.
Solid 3.
I was gonna rate that a 3.
Yeah.
Out of a 1 to 4. So yeah, that's got good flavor, especially if you like a sweeter bourbon.
Yeah.
If you're a Makers or a Woodford fan, if you like that spicier, that might not be for you. But as far as a sweet, smooth, it's good.
I think I would definitely recommend this to some beginners. Because
Not a lot of burn.
not a lot of burn. Yeah, you get a chance to enjoy some sweet flavor without
Kind of a medium finish. It's not that long, drawn out finish. Kind of a medium
Yeah.
finish. So
It's a medium complexity to it,
Yep.
and so for a new bourbon person, I mean, I would always recommend adding a Russell to your collection because I think you'll enjoy that.
Yep. All right, well, let's move on to the rare breed. And the rare breed is actually 116.8 proof. So it's going to be a little bit stronger, a little bit stouter. Now, this was $53, this rare breed, barrel proof. And it's actually a blend of a 6, an 8, and a 12-year-old bourbon.
Okay.
From the Wild Turkey line. Now, your aroma is supposed to be spring flowers.
Spring flowers. That's a
With-
first.
Yep, with some pepper, almonds, dates, and honey. It's got a real pretty color.
Spring flowers. I ain't getting that.
Of course, you want to swirl it around a little bit, wake up the notes. You didn't get a floral? Spin that around again and
Yeah, but
go
I'm
in
not
there.
getting. I'm getting floral, but I ain't getting no spring
Well-
flowers. I mean,
Floral to me is floral.
I ain't getting lavender. Poppies.
It's definitely got
Tulips?
It's definitely got a floral smell. Big time.
Yeah, I got floral. I get a little nutty. I got a little nuttiness on that one.
Well, they did say almonds. Mm-hmm. Now your flavor is supposed to be smoky flavors of grains and spice.
That's 100% on the money. It's smoky. Got a really beautiful hug to it.
These are very different.
Spicy, peppery, smoky, nutty, and it's finishing smoother. and a little
For a 116.
a little sweet on
Yeah,
the finish
for a
on the finish
116,
end.
there's not any burn.
No, like I said, it's a very smooth. It's a very smooth 116. It's very nice 116. It's not medicinal. It's very blend. I just think of blend when I drink this.
Right.
I mean, it really tastes like just a
That
blend.
that aroma is so unique. And this is the most popular from the Wild Turkey line is the rare breed.
All right. I'm going 4. I'm going 4 because I really enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's complex.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of. It's got, like you said, it's got the floral up front with a little spicy vanilla sweetness.
Millie.
Villy Manili, and then on the back end. You get that hug. You get that real smooth burn. It's like a smooth hug. It
Right.
wasn't a harsh hug that you would expect for 116. I like it.
I'm gonna go 3.
All right.
It's a little bit, I'm not into the spice as much as you are.
Yeah.
I like the Russell Reserve better, the little sweeter taste. But I mean, I didn't mind it. It's a good bourbon. It's good to have in your collection. But I'm gonna let you go neat, and I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with the 3
I'm
on
gonna
that
go
one.
neat on that one because I want my bourbon to have some complexity to it and I want you to know it's there.
Right.
Once you drink most of these, they're gone.
Right.
That one, I'm still feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
I like
No,
that.
It's
a 4.
And we bragged about Old Forester and how well they did with describing their aromas and tastes.
Yeah.
Wild Turkey did a good job too.
Yeah, those were on the money.
Yeah, 'cause I want to say last week we said it wasn't quite up to par with Old Forester, but it was close.
It was close.
So I would say Wild Turkey is just a notch below Old Forester as far as their descriptors. But
I mean, I think definitely these two should be in everybody's collection.
yes, and it's a nice contrast.
It is.
Because the Russell Reserve is the sweeter. You got the caramel and the vanilla, and then over here with the rare breeds, you got a little heat, a little bit of spicy, and the florals
and the proof that.
Yeah, and
So
got a
these
little more
would
bite
be
to it.
perfect complements to one another in your
Right.
collection because you could add this one for the beginner,
Mm-hmm.
this one for your more advanced bourbon drinker that might be over at your house.
Right.
That's
I mean, that's definitely a high quality bourbon.
Yeah,
So I see why you
absolutely.
gave it a 4,
yeah.
just from my personal taste.
I got you.
A little bit less, but I definitely could see why you would rate that a 4.
Yeah, I liked it. Very pleasant.
Okay. Well,
That's the show, man.
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Another episode in the books.
Episode, what was that? 18.
That was 18 now.
18 of
18
them.
episodes.
And like we talked about last week, we were gonna just kind of go off script
Yeah,
and
just get back to just talking.
just talking. No real format. I mean, we still have some notes.
some notes and
but-
some some things.
Yeah, just
that you
things
might not
that
want to
we-
forget to talk about.
Exactly.
But not the long stats, not the reporting. We're not reporters. We're
That's
we're a
right.
podcast. We're gonna give our opinions on.
That's why we
what's-
started it. We want to inject our opinion into this world and start forming a few of y'all into our way of thinking because that's what podcasts are for.
That's right.
They're for. We want different spins on things. Our spin's a little different.
That's right. Yeah.
It's what makes the world go round.
Absolutely. It's like Feinbaum that you were talking about earlier. He's got his spin on things. That's what's made him popular.
Absolutely.
So someday.
Never know.
Well, anyway, this Thursday's Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So, to everybody out there, you and your families, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for those that are watching our show. Please,
absolutely.
please share our content, forward our content, like it.
Drop us an email.
Yeah, drop us an email. We're on all the social medias. You can email us at bourbonbuzzandballinpr@gmail.com.
We're getting bigger each week. I mean, every week, new followers, new listeners, new
Hey,
downloads.
It's
a marathon. It's not a sprint.
I was gonna say it, but you beat me to it.
That's because I'm the sprinter.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. Yeah. So no big deal. I mean, we're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Hell, we're in your basement. We don't have. We ain't got a studio to pay for.
We're not paying any cameramen or sound guys or lighting.
Best
or,
boy grip. We don't have no best boy
That's
grip.
what I was trying to think of, but I couldn't remember.
Well, good.
Couldn't
We're
remember
1-1. You
Okay.
beat me to the punch. I got you on that one. So.
And remember, if you're in Tuscaloosa for the Iron Bowl this weekend, stop by our tent. We'll have some banners up there. We'll be on the right side of the quad. Come on, stop by, get something to eat, get something to drink, say hi, let us know what you think about the show. Might just be me flying solo. Dut might not be able to make it because he's going to see his family. But me and my family will be in T-Town for the Iron Bowl. So
I'm about 4 hours away, so
I'm trying to talk him into swinging back by there and joining us on Saturday morning. So anyway,
yeah, cool.
I think that's a wrap.
That's it, man.
All right.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Cheers.
Cheers.